Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2020 Disc Golf Pro Tour Tour Championship presented by Grip 6. We've got the semifinal round here, the top 4 players in the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Big Barry commentary bringing you all the action, Jeremy Koling and Paul Ulibarri.
Yeah, as we look at the names that kind of get into that semifinal bracket, we have 12 of the game's best.
Absolutely, we do. We have Paul McBeth, Calvin Heimburg, Ricky Wysocki, and Eagle McMahon. Now let's take a look at these fellows right here. Paul McBeth did not play in the 2019 Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship. He was suffering from that ankle injury that he had at the USDGC. Eagle McMahon also did not play in the Pro Tour Championship. Kind of a strange feeling having a championship without those two names. Oh, wait, and there was a third, obviously, with Ricky Wysocki with the Lyme disease last year. There was just all sorts of injuries and mishaps going on. But this fella did play, coming up one stroke shy of the championship with Chris Dickerson in an epic showdown at this very course here at Hornet's Nest Park in Charlotte, North Carolina. And getting straight into the action, we have one of the tougher starting holes on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Hole 1 is a par 3, 390 feet. Early trees on the right side and force the player to kind of start it off on the left and break a fairway driver or a really fast thrown mid-range down the left side, breaking to the right, and just trying to hit that last gap between these two tight trees here right on the circle's edge.
Up first, from California, representing Discraft, please put your hands together for Mr. Paul McBeth.
I had an epiphany.
Okay.
Every day, the gap gets smaller because the trees grow bigger. So this is a little bit harder than it was the day before. Let's see if Paul McBeth can.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Uli. Paul hitting the enlarged tree on the left side of the fairway. Very common mistake.
Yeah, maybe yesterday he wouldn't have hit that tree.
Champion Discs.
I think he would have.
Together for Mr. Calvin
Okay.
Heimburg.
We can agree to disagree. Calvin doesn't care about how big the trees grow.
No,
usually.
yeah, he has a good game plan out here. This style of play matches the style that he's very familiar with in Clearwater, Florida, Tampa, Florida. And you're going to see a lot of this action if Calvin Heimburg's playing well. That is a champion eagle thrown right down the middle, and
that's as good as we've ever seen.
3 p.m.
Haven't seen it better than that.
From South Carolina, representing Innova, Champion Discs. Please welcome Mr. Ricky Wysocki.
Ricky Wysocki's family lived in Fort Mill, South Carolina for a long time, which is just right over the border, no more than 25 minutes from this course. Ricky is very familiar with Charlotte, North Carolina disc golf. Ricky's going with his Tour Series T-Bird 3 and making the same mistake that Paul made in a huge kick right.
Pretty decent kick
Rounding
as far
out
as how
our
far it
3 p.m.
penetrated
time
forward,
from Colorado,
though.
representing Disc Mania. Please welcome Mr. Eagle McMahon.
And what a treat this year. They didn't play last year, and now we get to watch. I mean, these are the 3 best we have in the world, along with Calvin, of course, and Chris Dickerson and the rest of the field. But
yeah, I think there's like 6 guys that are number 1 in the world right now.
all tied.
Yeah.
I mean, you, me. It's crazy how the list goes on and on. It's crazy how we laugh.
Don't at me.
That. Yeah.
Don't at me at that one. I didn't say that. That was Paul.
I'll say it.
Eagle coming up with a nice approach. That's going to be a challenging putt to start the round off, but a good recovery after the early tree kick. McBeth about 175 feet out. Finding that narrow backdoor line, and that's a beautiful nestle.
That is really good. And that is a tight gap. I feel like that's what we're going to see today is them just... They're so good at manufacturing ways to get out of trouble and to score at the same time.
Ricky needs to manufacture something here, and there's not much there. And it really is such a matter of kind of rolling the dice when you get kicked off to the right side of the fairway. There's so many places where you do have a line and so many places where just not even one of the best scramblers we've ever seen was able to find a way out. Ricky's going to have to start his round off with a bogey stroke. Eagle trying to avoid that and does. A nice putt from the edge of the circle. And we've mentioned it so many times, but such a great way to start the round off. I mean, he had to scramble, he had to work hard, but he focused and then left himself with one of those putts to get the round started. Yeah, Calvin, after the beautiful tee shot, is rewarded, makes the putt. Only him and Kyle Klein able to secure the birdies on what we've called many times this week, one of the hardest starting holes on tour. One of these players will make the short walk over to the island hole too, and Paul Ulibarri is going to give us a breakdown.
Hole 2 is one of the more scenic holes here on the course, but don't let the beauty fool you. Even a good shot can catch a tree and end up in the water, making it your classic birdie bogey situation. Let's see how it plays out.
Well, not to do the announcer jinx, but we haven't seen anyone go out of bounds quite yet. Pressure is definitely mounting with $20,000 on the line tomorrow. Calvin going with his DX AVR X3. And that's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and he catches a good gap there on the right. I mean, it is easy to catch one of those, kind of kick left or right and end up in a tricky situation, but he gets through. And
McBeth going a little bit too safe with the Luna. That's going to be just outside the circle.
And it looked like the first two went putter, and now it looks like Eagle's actually
going with his MD3. Going a little bit slower arm speed, a little bit faster disc with the mid-range. And that is also heading out there to the left. That needs to clear the wall and just does, but as you can see the pine straw play, that kind of plinkos the disc to the back corner, really out of birdie range.
right. And to the viewer, this is pretty far back there. It looks like they're, clearing this with ease and maybe short arming it and still getting over, which they are, but it plays all of 300 plus.
Oh yeah, I mean 330 is a long way, and all these guys besides Eagle are going with the putter as Ricky goes with his pig, catches one of those trees and filters back to the wall.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was a point where I was thinking fairway driver off the tee. That's how far this actually the carry is.
Eagle, a nice run, kind of a layup. He's trying to do one of those like basketball shot high putts, then maybe try to sink one from distance. First tester putt of the round for McBeth. Just a bit short.
Yeah, half inch, and that's in.
And Ricky able to make the birdie. That's a good putt. And not at all concerned with that tree kick that pushed him back to the edge of the wall.
No, Ricky has solidified himself as one of the greatest putters of all time. And
yeah, he could even have a bad putting season and he'd still be in that conversation for all the situations he's put himself
absolutely.
in. That incredible putt he made so many years ago at the Masters Cup and that showdown with McBeth from 80 feet with water right behind the basket.
Yeah.
I mean, just he was already known as one of the best putters, and you had to make a couple signature putts like that and the one against Nate Sexton in the playoff, and I mean, just so many others. Just a primetime putter. We have so many players with so many incredible stories on this card today, and a truly championship-level disc golf course, and such an incredible event. And we're getting to hole 3 here, par 4, 679 feet, I believe. 74 feet. It takes a 400-foot shot just to get into position, and it is slightly downhill.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, and obviously Calvin's going to go with the backhand, but I'm curious to see if Eagle and Ricky and Paul all opt for the forehand or the sidearm, whatever you guys want to call it at home.
I like calling it the horizontal tomahawk.
I like that too. That makes sense.
Surprise, surprise, Calvin going with his trusty Champ Eagle. And like you called, Ricky going with his Star Destroyer. Turned it too much, but can that filter
Looks
down?
like it's a fighter.
Just kind of dropped, and now that's going to be out of position. If you aren't down 400 feet, there is no way to get all the way to the pin. Not even, it's almost impossible to get to circle 2 even, just with the way the tree's set up.
Absolutely. Paul's opting for the backhand. Slight flip up, miss the left tree barely, flip up straight, too much flip.
Yep, but he gets a very lovely redirection.
Yeah, what was that?
To the left side. This is going to be almost tit for tat. When you see Eagle, or Calvin go with his Eagle, you're going to see McBeth go with that Undertaker. And like you called again, Eagle going with his FD3. A little bit more overstable disc is going to need to put this on a lot of angle. And that's exactly what you want.
I love how he throws that shot.
Yeah,
just so much control, effortless, right down the pipe, using the good stability of the disc to make the fairway as big as possible.
That bridge is about 175 out, and he's actually past that, which is a good thing. It opens up the angle best on the deep side of the fairway.
It looks like Rick actually has a shot to get to that bridge, that we've been talking about in rounds past. You get to the bridge, and then you'll have some sort of shot up to the basket to save par. Or birdie if you land there.
It's a good visual from wherever you are that's not on the fairway, but it's actually kind of a visual to say, hey, go 40 feet past this. Because the bridge itself is actually a little bit tucked in tight. You want to be somewhere in that 50 to 70 foot range past it. Paul going with his force and kicking right, which is not what you want.
It looked like he was trying to get up there for some sort of look. Well, not trying. If he doesn't hit that tree, he's up there for a look.
He was about 340 feet away from the basket. That's asking a lot for that shape. Calvin, even though he was 300 out, wasn't really able to match the shape of that approach.
Calvin's been working on his sidearm this year, and he uses it very well. But that angle that he had there is a really tough
You
shot.
have to
That's
go
an
so overstable.
Yeah, that's an advanced sidearm kind of angle matched with the right disc and all the confidence in the world.
Right,
So,
you are. Ricky going with his pig, and that's a nice approach. That'll be most likely a par save. You can kind of see the difficulty of being off on the right side. Paul's going to be looking around trying to find some way through the trees.
Oh, no. Yeah,
that could be a potential early mistake for McBeth if he doesn't collect the putt from 50 feet.
kind of like just a little layup there from Calvin.
Let's call it 42. And one low on hole 2 and one high on hole 3, just a bit off.
That's a bogey. Bogey 5.
And Ricky, a nice scramble work to collect the par.
To save the world. 33-footer
Who do you put on the line?
on this card. Because that's who we'd put on anyway, probably.
I got to say McBeth, just because he's made so many clutch putts in the career. I think that he puts the weight of the world on his shoulders every time he takes a 33-footer.
He literally just misses a 42-footer higher, and you're going to put a fail the entire plan on Paul McBeth? Back?
Who are you putting it on?
I'll just putt it and just save everybody the problem.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Not a bushwhacker. Yeah. Hole 4, par 4, 610 feet, low ceiling, over the hill. Try to keep this one as close to the ball field on the left side as you can to open up the approach angle into the green. A good tee shot really makes this hole pretty simple, but if you're out of position, this hole can be a nightmare quick because there is out of bounds close to the basket. The slope green on the early left side has been causing nightmares to so many players all week. So much emphasis on this drive right here. Eagle, the only birdie on hole 3, going with his FD3.
What a great birdie.
I mean,
and honestly, I'd take any of these guys to putt that.
Sure.
They're all going to make it.
And look at that, an FD3
wow.
turnover out of bounds on the right side of the tree line.
He's going to have that tough decision whether to go over the OB the entire way or lay up to the fairway. I'm gonna tell him secretly in the microphone. Go for it.
And Calvin, that's what you want to see right there.
He is the best player on the planet at throwing it dead straight.
As hard as you can.
Just controlled. I'll say controlled.
Oh, Ricky Wysocki with a really unfortunate kick with a halo wraith, and that pulls his shot out of bounds. That's 2 out of bounds on this tee, on this card, I should say, and we haven't seen that yet.
Well, that's buttery.
We did see that with you in the quarterfinals. I'm sorry to bring it up.
I never went out of bounds off the tee.
You didn't?
No.
It was the second shot.
Yeah, I tried. I figured out different ways to do that.
So Ricky now at a very scary shot, 200 feet to clear the wall, 245 to the pin, and he parks it. That's going to be a par save for Ricky. That's a gutsy shot. And if that was hard, actually Eagle's about 15 feet farther up.
From a knee?
But his angle is so much worse because he actually has the low ceiling branches. He has to go air bounce, miss the pole, now get down.
Go in. Might as well.
And that, from our perspective right there, that was under the basket. That actually worked its way all the way to the edge of the circle, but still a great effort from there.
Beautiful. Oh, no. This needs to sit.
And look at this. It is not sitting. And there's the hillside that we talked about. And that was an errant shot that got a bit of a break and then a bad break. That'll be a back-to-back bogeys for McBeth unless he can make some miraculous putt from the bottom of the hill.
Easy peasy.
Look how soft that Firebird just sat there. Just Velcro. So McBeth now from...
Did his engine just get revved up? Did he just start his engine?
Let's see, from 50 feet. No, never really had a chance.
That was the park ranger. Well, that one's done.
Pulled that in half like a taco.
Yeah.
Now right to left tailwind for Eagle. A relatively calm day. The wind was actually picked up right here. It doesn't look like it from the foliage, but it's moving.
Did that sit?
No, it didn't. So he's got like 27 feet now. This is going to be a straight headwind.
Oh, no.
Now Eagle's going to have a similar wind from 42 feet. And now he's got that tailwind putt. Needs to make this and just stop the pain.
Sit. No.
And it's gone out of bounds.
Oh,
ball.
no.
And this is just truly, everyone in the collective audience is just feeling the same feeling right now, just pain, as Eagle has taken a quadruple bogey 8 after the only birdie on hole 3.
After a really great shot from a really tough position too, and that's, you know.
Have you discovered disc golf yet? Get started on the right track with a prime starter set from Dynamic Discs featuring the Escape, Truth, and Judge. We've got more discs, bags, and everything you need to get better at Dynamic Discs.
Yeah, so for the viewer at home, Eagle, best putter on the planet this year.
Yeah.
That'll show you how tough these high-rise baskets are and these positions that they put on these holes. I mean, it's just super difficult.
And it's also difficult when you think that you've parked a very difficult shot. From his perspective, he did not see that thing roll all the way to the bottom of the hill. And then you get down there, oh, I still have work to do. Oh, I have a tough wind. And then just like that,
Oh, that's a great point.
If he doesn't birdie out, I mean, not birdie out, obviously, but if he doesn't turn things around right now, his chances of making ESPN 2 in the finals are essentially gone. Just because of the damage of what an 8 can do.
Both mentally and to your scorecard.
Well, Calvin, who is not really experiencing any problem right now, 3 under, another picture-perfect tee shot with his eagle right down the middle. Ricky's going to try to match that line, but going with a much more overstable disc with his champion Firebird. And this is in danger.
He needs to hit that tree, and he does. Wow.
Incredible break. I was
Great.
heading across the road.
Those are the breaks you need. Little things like that go a long ways, especially when you're just every single stroke has so much merit.
Yep.
Oh, this needs help.
McBeth going
Get
with
down.
the ESP buzz.
Okay.
And goes with a slow enough disc that drift did not hurt him, and he's actually got a pretty decent angle for his approach. Eagle going with the forehand FD3, pushing this down low. And I mean, just when things are bad, sometimes that was on the right side of the tree, caught a limb and pulled it left into the road out of bounds. Just a terrible break. Eagle picks up the same disc and goes to his mark and throws it from there.
Beautiful up and down.
Parking it from 315 down the road. That's great trust. And
Yeah, another miscue from there, and he essentially has to rethrow from the exact spot he's at.
so, Ricky, an ambitious effort with the pig, coming up short,
But inbounds.
but inbounds. 290 is a long way, even for Ricky to carry that forehand pig.
Little turned over, seems like.
And nice play from the ground there to slow down McBeth's zone approach, leaving him inside 25 feet. And once again,
It's kind of fascinating how many big scores have been during this format. I don't see those scores when we're playing a regular tournament. You don't see Eagle taking quad. You don't see Presnell taking quad or triple. You don't see those big numbers, and that I feel like this type of pressure is different than any other pressure. So you see these big time numbers.
Well, outside of this event in the past, we've never played a format quite like this before where you had to be one of the top scorers. I talked to Calvin Heimburg before the round, and I asked him how he felt coming into it, and he said, well, it's an interesting thing. I based most of my career on being consistent, and now I have to play a hot round, and that's not the type of golf that I like to play. And I just reminded Calvin that your consistent golf usually is hot rounds, so just go do your thing.
Yeah, you're rated 1052, which is hot.
I think you'll be just fine. And so far that playing consistent is working for him. He's 4 down through 5 holes, and he's definitely sending a statement to all the cards that are still in the course.
Which is another good point, that every single one of these players on this last card, if they shoot their average score by rating, per se,
They're in.
They're in,
Yeah.
no matter what. So just be yourself out there, guys.
So hard to do with all that's on the line this week. I mean, really, we've never had... this is the largest purse in disc golf history. $10,000 for second place. I mean, that's what Chris Dickerson won last week for winning the only major of the year.
Right?
Pretty incredible stuff. Hole 6, par 3, 453 feet. Low ceiling, OB in the road on the right side all the way down. Calvin going with that Thunderbird, and you just know when somebody's feeling it because they do things like that.
Yeah.
This dude is just sizzling. Yesterday, James Conrad shot 5 down on the front 9. even par in the back nine, and Calvin's about to get to 5 down through 6 holes.
Blazing. He's in the Cal zone.
Yeah. McBeth with the Onyx, and that's a nice shot right to the edge of the circle.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you really want. I feel like, expectations are a bit different for this card, especially on a hole like this. Seems like Heiser. Oh, no, that is not. Oh, okay.
Dikembe Mutombo says no.
The distance isn't a problem here. It's all about angle and height. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Eagle looking to try to claw back some birdie strokes, going with his PD.
Which is totally doable, especially on this front nine. It's not out of question to get the last few and get back to even going in the back and having a chance. But
this is low, and it's turned over. This needs to get a little help from the curb. Just doesn't hit it hard, and that's going to be 3 consecutive drives out of bounds for Eagle. And that's going to be a drop shot again. And we've mentioned it over and over throughout this event so far. The scoring really takes place in the front nine, as Ricky thought he made that one from 220 feet out. But if Eagle wants any chance of seeing some Sunday action and continuing his 2020 touring season, he's going to have to make that action come together on the back nine.
no question. And if there's somebody that can do it, it's him. Let's see what Paul's got from us from just inside the
low
circle.
cage. Hardly, very rare. I think that.
Yeah, it seemed like a quick stroke, you know, like a quick arm speed. Not timing wasn't synced up type thing. He didn't get to his release point, you know, all those things. And that's what I'm saying. This type of format brings a different player to the screen.
And with McBeth's third missed putt from inside normal McBeth range, I'm starting to second guess that whole aliens coming to the planet and destroying us with lasers thing. I don't.
Sure, and
it's coming up a bit short right now.
To bring, you know, the point a bit further, Calvin's the only one that played last year. These guys haven't really felt this type of pressure in a while.
I mean, there's a couple guys on the course that, well, Eric Oakley has played. This is his third round now at this course in this format, and we've got Austin Hannum, James Conrad, and Kyle Klein. Right. They're playing their second round in this format, and everyone else is coming in here fresh.
And these guys haven't played this type of golf in 2.5 years, 3 years.
Through 6 holes, the first third of the course, the leaders right now, the top 4 players, Calvin Heimburg, Kevin Jones at 3 under, Austin Hannum at 2 under, and actually Garrett Gerthy just at 1 under par.
Oh, wow. So it's open.
It's still wide open. You guessed it, Calvin Heimburg needing to throw in straight goes with an eagle. Okay, to be fair, it turned a bit to the right, but needs to hit it.
As far as the fairway is concerned, he threw it straight down the fairway. How about we call it?
Mm-hmm. And just like clockwork, Calvin goes eagle, McBeth goes Undertaker. And his line was actually a bit better. It was a little bit higher, had a chance to get farther down the fairway, but just caught one of those phantom limbs sticking out over the fairway.
Well, this is an aggressive play. This is going to have to
look at this.
Look at this
Star Destroyer.
That is so far.
Absolutely smoked. One of the longest drives you're going to see on this hole with a forehand, of course. Past the big pine tree in the middle of the fairway. That just always is a sign of being way down there. An eagle going big forehand, and this is going through a gap that just absolutely doesn't exist, Paul.
Hurry!
That's got to get some spin, and look at that.
He needs that. I mean, he's had a couple. He's had a couple of bad breaks in the last few holes.
Yep.
A couple bad shots to boot, but it seems like when you're playing bad, big tournaments, bad breaks follow right away.
It's so unfair. Now Paul's got to go with the force and go with a heavy flex. Needs to put a lot of angle on this. And that is a very overstable disc. Just barely held onto that Anheuser at all. And it's going to be another par for McBeth, who's still struggling at 1 over par.
Calvin really doing work, like you said. The thing about his round so far is he's leaving himself with hyzer angle into the basket for a scoring opportunity, which he's making it as simple as you can possibly make it on this front nine, and I'm sure his competitors are jealous.
Well, sure. I mean, he's doing exactly what you need to do, and like we said just a moment ago, the scores aren't that hot so far. I mean, he's the only one that's really pushing the action. Kevin Jones with a nice start at 3 under through 6 holes, getting half of them. It's kind of what you want, but
Yeah, if Calvin birdies this and pars out like we saw James Conrad do,
yeah,
he's looking good.
Yeah, I
to
mean,
the next round, he is. I mean, we've been saying 6 to
6 under,
5
yep.
to 7. That's what you want to be, and I feel like this final round is going to push the envelope a little bit more.
Yep.
But that's not what we're seeing here on this front nine, especially because that back nine is treacherous.
Stakes have never been higher. Calvin, 35 feet. A nice pop, but just a little bit low. That'll be the first missed putt of Calvin's round. An eagle with a much-needed birdie. Ricky with a nice birdie to bring him to 1 under. Hole 8 is a par 4, 534 feet is the length of the hole as you move down the fairway. You just really want to miss this tree and put yourself somewhere in the middle as the drone begins to bend down the gap. From here, you just have to pick some sort of mid-range or putter, get over this hill and make this narrow gap. Just barely missing these last 2 trees up here by the green and giving yourself a putt for the birdie. Not the most difficult hole, but it has definitely taken some big numbers over the week.
I love how this hole adds a specific shot you have to throw, and then on the up shot, you have to actually throw it pretty high with some soft touch to get it to land on a flat green. And that's something that we don't see a lot of in other courses.
This is
like a shorter shot to position, and then a shot that requires a lot of touch angle control into a heavily guarded green. This is a brilliant hole.
Eagle McMahon going with an FD3 and going a bit long, but he might be in a pretty good spot. I'm not going to say Stan McDaniel invented layup zone disc golf, but he definitely tried to put a patent on it. And this is one of his prized designs, Hornet's Nest Park. The design began back in 1996, I believe, and Stan is a legend of disc golf design. Eagle. There's another eagle thrown by Calvin. That's one of his most overstable ones, and that was a little bit of an inside shank that got clean through everything.
I feel like that was not the best shot, but like you said, hey, man, when it's going bad, it's going bad, and when it's going good, it's going really good.
I hear that, brother. McBeth with the vulture, leaving himself about 250, but tucked in the woods. 250 in Charlotte is different than 250 really anywhere else in the country.
Right.
Paul's got a small gap. He's going with the ESP Buzz and fights his way through, and he's going to have another outside the circle putt.
I mean, that first little limb that caught him, and those things will throw you into the base of trees and just end your world. And he got the throw, and I thought it was over, but he fought through. That's nice. Ricky with the best drive, 1 tree to miss.
Yep.
He misses that, and he's home free with a nice drift to the left. But now, I mean, par's the best he's going to be able to do from there. When you catch the good breaks,
you got to take advantage of it. That's
how you have the hot rounds.
Calvin with the Rhino, 200 feet out. You can go ahead and pretty much guarantee that's going to be an up and down.
Call that a 6 under on the front 9. I mean, already with
we're not done yet.
Hole 9 is treacherous,
Yes.
but I mean, at this point, a 6 under on the front 9. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
Yeah, par out, bud.
Eagle with a nice approach there, and that's going to bring Eagle to 2 over. A good battle back after the just disastrous 8. McBeth needs this one, 38 feet. And he connects, and that's a confidence booster.
Big time. Kind of a must-make in this situation. I mean, to get back to even with 1 hole to go on the front 9, it gives him a shot to go beast mode on the back. This back 9 is the hardest back 9, I think, on the planet.
I wouldn't go that far, but that's just because
You've played where?
there's some tough ones, and this one's one of them.
You've played where?
I've played about 600 courses.
Name the back 9. I'm going to call it Hornet.
Name all 600.
No, name the tough one.
Reedy Creek. I forget the rest.
Reedy Creek, you're going to put up against this one? That's what you went for?
No, that's not.
Unbelievable. In the comments, tell us what you think the hardest back 9 in the country is. I'm going to put my money on this one. What do we got
Winter
here?
Gold in the rain. Hole 9, par 3, 430 feet. Slightly downhill the whole way, and you have that super tight gap right through the initial early part of the hole. And once you miss that, it's kind of happiness from there. And if you can make your way all the way down to the basket, it's all bonus from there.
Ready to throw.
So Eagle, the only player with back-to-back birdies, he's going to take the tee box. And he's going to go with a standstill forehand with his PD. Going to go with a fairway driver standstill forehand, 430 feet.
He might be able to outdrive this card with a standstill forehand PD.
Oh, actually, he's not going standstill.
Oh, well, yeah, you got us all thinking. And
I know.
Now here he goes running up, throwing it 900 feet.
Tricked you.
This is good.
It's moving its way to circle 2 territory. It's makeable putt, outside chance.
I like that, though. Hit the gap. Make sure, maybe he's had a few errant shots with the backhand. Maybe he's feeling a little bit more confident with the sidearm. Hit the gap. Give yourself a look.
Calvin pulls it right and actually gets an incredibly nice kick right to the tee pad. That is not in play, but is about 305 feet from the pin. Like you mentioned.
Which isn't a gimme.
It's not a gimme. He still has plenty of work to do, but early kicks on this hole can, we saw it yesterday with Philo, it can end your hole.
Absolutely.
And Calvin has definitely built himself a little bit of insurance and buffer with those 6 early birdies.
You're going to see a lot of hyzer with this.
Well, guess what? Calvin threw an eagle, so what do you think Paul threw?
Undertaker.
And that's about as good as you can do it. Made that look so easy.
Yeah, nice little hyzer flip. So in control, smooth run up, almost like he's thrown in slow motion.
And that's going to be to get to 1 under after those 2 early bogeys, I should say.
A little slip here.
Slippy Wysocki with the destroyer needs to slow down.
What?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He has a great drive.
That's the first sidearm I've seen get down there all the way to the circle. I'm sure maybe in your cards you've seen something.
Oakley put one literally resting on the base. The disc was vertical with the forehand. It was pretty cool. Now Calvin, like I said, 305 feet going with the KC Rock. You're not going to see a much better, smooth, in control shot than that.
And I keep telling everybody, watch the way that it lands. It lands flat, no momentum.
Yep.
He threw it where he wanted. Needs it.
And kind of had to go stabby, high float, hyzer, just with the trees the way that they were positioned on that putt to kind of get it to fade in and got the aim right, just not the height.
McBeth and Ricky are kind of in like must-make territory.
Yeah.
Just because I might be biased, but the back 9 is just tough.
You want to position yourself at like 3 or 4 under on the front at the
Right.
worst. If you want to come in with a good score, and McBeth is now going to be under par, collecting the only birdie on hole 9 as Ricky misses his low, and
No, and 3 to 4 under on the back nine is totally manageable.
Sure.
Totally manageable. But what I'm saying is we're seeing courses where people are able to go on 7 to 6 hole birdie streaks.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going. We're not going to see that on the back nine.
I don't know if we've seen more than, maybe we've seen 3 birdies consecutively at some point. Did you have 3 birdies consecutively in the
I had
semifinals?
4.
You had 4 consecutive on the back nine.
On the front nine.
Oh no, I'm talking
Yeah.
the back nine. I don't think
we
we've
don't-
seen a turkey on the back nine.
We're not talking about the back nine anymore. We're on the back nine.
Well,
And
that is,
there's nobody's getting that many in a row.
and it's a tough thing to do as we see Calvin Heimburg, fire emoji, 6 under in these conditions, in this situation. Kevin Jones, he is at 5 under. I mean, playing just as well, essentially, shot for shot. And Austin Hannum from the first card, he is at 3 under par. Paul McBeth and Ricky Wysocki, the only other players in this 8-person or 12-person field, under par. What do we have left in store, Paul?
You know what? What I love seeing about that scorecard is we have a few people who did what you're supposed to do on the front. But then we have a 3 under and a bunch of even. All of those guys are right in the mix. They didn't do it. So that tells me we're going to have a complete battle on the back nine. And it's going to be close to the finish.
It's going to come down to the finish line, that's for sure. Thanks as always to the Founders Club. We're going to see you in the back nine here in a moment.